scratch pairing. The only time they played previously was in the last Thomas Cup campaign, when of course Denmark went on to win. They played the quarterfinal and the semi-final. Next up, it will be the second men's singles, and Kento MOMOTA, a beaten finalist at last year's French Open, is up against Hans Christian Wietinghus, who of course won the 5th match of the final 2 years ago against Indonesia. Then it's the second men's doubles, and here's a surprise for Japan. Inoue and Kaneko are up against the European champions Kim Astrup and Anders Rasmussen. Then if we need to get down to that 5th match, the third men's singles, and all of us here hope we will get down to that 5th match, Tsuneyama of Japan will play against the former world number 2, Jan O Jorgensen. So here the two magnificent trophies, the Thomas and the Uber Cups. Well, Denmark rewrote the record books 2 years ago by becoming the first nation outside of Asia to actually lift that magnificent trophy that we've just seen. Delighted to say that former Danish head coach Steen Pedersen is alongside me. And Steen, as I was saying, there's one or two surprises in the lineup.
Yeah, the men's doubles lineup is quite a surprise to me. I talked to the Danish staff to inquire whether there was something wrong with Mads Thyler Kolding, but apparently that's not the case. They've decided that this is the way they feel they have the best chance to win this tie against Japan.
Well, that's very interesting indeed. Of course, I was talking about Denmark rewriting the record books 2 years ago. Of course, Japan, winners in Delhi 4 years ago, were defeated in the quarterfinal stage of the last Thomas Cup final staged in Kwanshan. They lost an absolute thriller that day to Denmark, their opponents of today, and it went right down to the wire. It was all decided on the 5th and final match, the third men's singles. Can we hope for another scenario like that?
I think we can, but I think Japan looks much stronger team this year than 2 years ago. Kento MOMOTA is back, so that obviously helps them.
Yes, and there he is, the left-hander and the current world champion, Viktor AXELSEN, back from ankle surgery earlier this year to lead Denmark's Thomas Cup campaign. Well, of course, Kento MOMOTA had an enforced absence from the sport. He returned last year, and already this year he has won 2 titles, the Vietnam International Challenge, but more importantly, the very recent Asia Championships, where he beat Chen Long in the final, having beaten the All England champion Chi Wu Chi in the second round. Chao Tien Chen, the number 7 seed and highly ranked player from Chinese Taipei, in the quarterfinal. In the semi-final, he beat Lee Chong Wei, the former world number 1. Now, to have back-to-back matches and results like that for Kento MOMOTA, I think it is a signal that he is right back to his top form. So whilst his world ranking may not be right up there as it was before, he has been as high as 2. I think he's in great form. So if you're a Danish fan, you'll think that's a little ominous. This is the 8th meeting between the two, and MOMOTA has an overwhelming advantage, having won 6 of the previous 7. Not only that, he's won the last 5 encounters. The last time they met was in the final of the India Super Series of 2016. 2 straight games, as you saw, in just 45 minutes for Kento MOMOTA. There he is, hugely talented, and being a left-hander, able to produce some shots, as all left-handers can, that create a different spin. Of course, with a shuttle not being spherical like a tennis ball, a left-hander does actually hit the shuttle in a different way, because with a slice shot, they're hitting against the feathers. The feathers are all put into the shuttle in a certain way. It's all left over right. So a left and a right-hander playing technically the same shot creates a different spin because one's hitting with the feathers, the other's hitting against the feathers. So a left-hander does make a difference in the sport. As you can see, he's 23 years of age, born in Kagawa in Shikoku Island, the smallest of the 4 main islands of Japan. He was world number 2 for 1 week from the 7th of April 2016, and what a campaign he's had. 4 matches played, all 4 matches in Japan's campaign, and he's won all 4. He did go to 3 games against Ng Ka Long of Hong Kong and again against Chao Tien Chen of Chinese Taipei. Those were both group matches. So to Viktor AXELSEN, the world champion, the 24-year-old, enjoying his 34th week in total as world number 1. Born in Odense, and he won the world title last year in Glasgow, beating Lin Dan, the 5-time former world champion, in the final. Lin Dan, incidentally, in his 7th world championship final there in Glasgow. Now, if we look at Viktor AXELSEN's campaign, he lost the last of the group matches to Lee Chong Wei, the 3-time Olympic silver medalist, and yesterday won a wonderful encounter against the current world number 2. So the number 1 and the number 2 playing yesterday in the quarterfinals. Sung Won Ho saved a match point in the 3rd game when 19-20 down, but came through to close it out 22-20, and that proved a very important win indeed. So our court officials for this: Chiturut Kanuatarapat from Thailand and Liu Yun from China, the service judge.
By Kento MOMOTA. On my left, Denmark, represented by Viktor AXELSEN. Japan to serve. Lobo. Play.
So the left-handed Kento Momota getting this first men's singles of the semi-final tie underway. And that's gone long. And of course, Steen, the first thing I need to ask you, with the head-to-head 6-1 to Momoto, it seems strange to a lot of people, myself included. Why is it that Viktor AXELSEN struggles against Momoto? It must be something in the styles.
Yeah, it definitely is. Momoto's got an excellent defense. We're going to see that, but maybe that's where AXELSEN can challenge him after they haven't played for almost 2 years. But he's got an excellent defense. He's got a really, really great touch, and he's got an excellent net gain as well. So in these areas, he puts a lot of pressure on Viktor AXELSEN, and is making the Dane work too much to his comfort. And when Momota gets the chance himself, he can definitely put it away. So his attack compared to AXELSEN's defense is also to the Japan player's advantage. So I have him as a quite big favorite to win this match.
Wow, that is interesting.
And here we saw some of the shots that were the trouble against Lee Chong Wei. Look at the defense from AXELSEN. It's way, way too high. Gives away a huge opportunity to Momota, and of course he takes advantage of that.
AXELSEN looks nervous to me, Steen.
I think he's very nervous. There's one more thing that is to the advantage of Kento Momota. There's a quite considerable amount of drift in this hole, and Momota is an excellent wind player, so to speak. He's won the Indonesia Open, one of the most windy stadiums in the world. Viktor AXELSEN has only won 1 match, I think, in Indonesia Open the last 6 years. And a lot of people have been looking forward to this match, because you could say that Viktor AXELSEN is basically the player who's benefited most from Kento MOMOTA visiting this illegal gambling hall in Japan.
Yes, and then a suspension followed, a suspension that was initially indefinitely, but he's been allowed back to play. I think it was a year in the end, or just over a year, that he was suspended. But for all us badminton fans, it's wonderful to have him back because he's such an exciting player.
Indeed it is, and it's also interesting to see that, I mean, Viktor AXELSEN has also developed in the time where Momota has been on hiatus, so to speak. But we saw early in this tournament Viktor AXELSEN struggling against Lee Chung-wei, also a little bit against Song Wan-ho, so I don't think he's at his best yet, coming back from his ankle surgery.
Service over. 2-5. Service over. 6-2.
Excellent play by Momota. Fantastic touch by Momota. And a little bit of luck in the net court as well.
Both former World Junior champions. Momota won his World Junior title in Chiba in Japan in 2012. Viktor AXELSEN, of course, had won gold at the World Junior Championships in Guadalajara 2 years prior to that.
Set 2.
Has gone long.
Service over. 3-8.
Looking as if he's settled a little bit more now, the Dane.
Yeah, he has. It'll be really interesting to watch the proceedings here.
Oh, threaded it down the line.
5-8.
That's perfect.
flat serve from Axelsen, but that return was going long.
Service over. 9-5.
Yeah,
Service over.
I think the net battle is going to be important, but given what you said earlier about Momota's net play.
Yeah, and I mean, all the things I said was based on how it looked before Momota was banned.
Yeah.
So that's what's so interesting to see how has this period influenced the two players.
I have to say, I thought Momota looked slimmer and trimmer and fitter after his suspension. Coming back now, I think he looks a better athlete.
Yeah, I think he's been working hard in the weight training room.
Yeah. That's well wide.
And long as well, actually.
10-7.
Well, you and I were having a chat before this tie got underway, Steen, and about the drift, because it was definitely on court number 2. The drift was taking the shuttle flying faster towards the far end of the court. I thought for quarterfinals yesterday on court number 1, it was flying a little bit quicker coming towards us.
I agree. I finally have to agree. The first 2 days it was the same as court 2, but day 3 and 4 it definitely changed, and that's of course worrying. I had a chat with Viktor AXELSEN after his defeat to Lee Chung-wei, and he said, I thought I was playing with the drift, but I was playing against it. I was playing so short. Well,
Service over. 8-10.
it was definitely wise of AXELSEN to keep the net exchanges to the forehand side, even though left-handed players tend to have a better touch in the forehand than right-handed players. I've seen Momota really, really sharp in his backhand side.
Oh yes, that's lovely. Not full power, all about angle and placement. Played with the skies too.
He was down 7-2 AXELSEN. Now he's just 1 point adrift. That's positive for the Dane.
I think it was actually 8-2, wasn't it?
Service over. 11-9.
But it is Momota who goes to the mid-game interval with a 2-point advantage. 3 minutes played.
Mellemspillet godt at dreje ned ind på den midterlinje, nemlig og så lad ham spille. Så når man spiller
Court 1 20 seconds. Court 1 20 seconds.
Well, Kenneth Jonassen, the Danish coach. Well, I was struggling to hear any of that. Steen, did you manage to catch anything?
It was really difficult. There's so loud applauses in the hall here that it's really difficult to hear what the coaches are saying. But I managed to catch a little glimpse of the sort of in-between game where you were sort of trying to not give anything away, but also not going too much for an advantage. And they talked about that AXELSEN was going to play it a little bit towards the middle of the court, the middle line of the court. But it was not enough to say anything meaningful from.
Yeah.
Great touch again. A challenge.
Oh, challenge, yeah.
Challenges fall out.
Well, we wait for Hawkeye. I'm guessing the advice down the centre of the court, that presumably is to narrow the angle of reply.
Take away the angles. Good challenge.
Yeah, very good challenge.
Collection in. Play.
Yeah, that's clever.
Ball. Service over. 10-13.
I suppose with the sideways drift, which is right to left, it can bring that shuttle push down Axelsen's backhand side, can bring it back in.
Yeah, you go directly for the line, because if you're a little bit off, it will still have a chance to drift in.
Service over. 14-11.
Well, Steve, we always talk about the importance of the first match in a tie in team competitions, but I think this is even more important, don't you? I think it's going to set the tone for the whole tie.
For the whole tie, for the month coming up until the Malaysia Super 750. People are going to talk about this. This is the match people have been wanting to see. We've seen Momota against Shi Yuqi, Lee Chongwei, Chou Chen Chen, and those players. He's beaten them at the Asia Championships. So how does he stand against the reigning world champion? That's the question everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah. Oh, he's taken it. It's a good rally. Missed it, missed it.
And it is these rallies, if Momota keeps winning rallies like this, it will apply a lot of mental pressure on Viktor AXELSEN. He will feel that he doesn't have the accuracy, the quality of his shots to challenge Momota in these long rallies, and he will start taking chances, and I'm not sure that would be the right way to proceed. So very, very important, these little bit longer rallies in terms of number of shots.
I have a feeling that last one was probably the longest so far. 36 shots.
16.
And we've seen AXELSEN improve in windy conditions, because quite unusual. There was a lot of drift at the Denmark Open last October, and he played two magnificent games against Shrikant Kidambi. Ended up losing in 3 games though, so it's not so easy. He's a tall man.
17-11.
Normally in drifty conditions, you want to keep most of the shots flat and stay in control of the rallies, and that's difficult. The long limbs.
Service over. 4-17.
It looked to me as if there was a little more urgency in the style of Axelsen in that rally. Well, he's asking for the court to be mopped. Already you can see that his shirt is absolutely sodden with perspiration. So 4 points adrift, and 4 points can easily be closed down. Oh, that's a good shot. Yeah, the disguise from Momota. Wonderful.
It's just a little, we didn't see it here, but it's just a little wiggle of the racket head, and it's so efficient. So that's part of being a good front court player, having the skills from a little below the tape.
Yeah. Straight down the line.
Service over. 14-18.
Well, I've always thought this man is a man for the big occasions. When you look at his record in finals, 15 career finals. Incredibly, he's won 14 of them. Only ever lost one final. So Momota, given the big occasion, tends to produce.
He thrives on those occasions. Extremely important player when Japan won their first Thomas Cup in 2014 as the second men's singles. He doesn't give anything away in these shots. A little bit there though, but so good normally at that game of just playing it safely into the opponent's court. A little bit short the lift, but also very efficient cross-court smash from Axelsen. And it's important for Axelsen that he gets a lot of variation into his game.
Missed it. How many has he missed down that line? It's got to be 3 or 4 now. And with that error, game point opportunities for Japan and Momota.
I feel he's going for the winner there, and I mean, I don't think you can bank on hitting winners from the backcourt against Momota. I think eventually you will be forced to make a mistake because he has such a good defense and such a great touch. So you've got to win it from closer to the net. Good rally. From a Danish perspective,
he's got such height, he creates these wonderful angles. 6'4". Missed it.
17-20.
Oh, indecision. Axelsen.
But it's in this kind of game I feel Momota has the upper hand.
Oh, that's quick. My goodness me. After what I suspect might be the longest rally of the match so far. Watch this, ready to pounce, just rolls the racket head over the top of the shuttle, and indeed it is the longest rally. My goodness, that was right on the tape. Wonderful play from Momota. And the opening game, 21-17 in 23 minutes.
自分が後ろの時だけちょっと詰めてくるから、そこはね、次やったり、一回くれる。時々相手は前のポジションあるから。
Han har ikke sat et punktum overhovedet forkert. De har sat det kommer slet ikke sådan. Han arbejder også over. Han er sindssygt hårdt. Men når du stiller dig derind, så
このロブが相手待たれちゃうと危ないから、平辺までで、もちろんバックハンドです。一回そういう時ストレート相手のラウンドショット。まあどうぞこっちは平野ピンとロブでペイントできるから、こっちがさ球をさうまく回せば相手はどんどんストレスがある。
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Second game. Level. Play.
So the second game getting underway. Yeah, I think we're right about the drift, Steve. I think that one
Service
held
over.
up.
Yeah.
One.
But I just
love.
want to pick up on something you said towards the end of that game, that the patient play from Axelsen is going to suit Momota more.
Yeah, that's his game. I mean, if you can play against Viktor AXELSEN
Service over.
without AXELSEN smashing, then you're on your way to winning.
Yeah.
And I managed to catch a glimpse of what they talked about in the Danish camp, but I couldn't hear whether they were discussing Viktor or Momota, but they said something about, I think they said he's working really hard. If that's the case, then I disagree. I think it's Viktor who's working really, really hard. Momota is just sort of playing a little bit Lindan style, creating really, really good shots, has an extreme touch. He doesn't try to get below it in his backhand. He's content to play his backhand shots, unless like here, it's high enough, but it's not like he's working really hard to get below it in order to smash or something like that. He's content in making these backhand drives into the court.
Yeah.
So I think AXELSEN is working harder than Momota.
Service over. 3-2.
So you think Axelsen is right to go for angles like that, because there's no point just keeping in the rally?
I think he has to be extremely variated in his game and basically variate his game plan within the game a number of times, not only once or twice.
Yeah, that's good.
He missed it.
Oh.
That's gone long, I think.
Well, no, it was called in. This is why Momota is challenging.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
But I like that move towards the net from Axelsen.
That's a great challenge too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right, Steen, as well.
I'm glad you noticed, Jill. I've been pretty good on the Hawkeyes this tournament.
Yeah. Eagle Eye Steen beating
Exactly.
the Hawkeye.
Five, two, play.
Yeah,
Well, I think he read
that's where
that.
he needs to be. He needs to take that shot away from Kento MOMOTA. Now, it's not like Momota can't hit other shots, but that's the first one he needs to take away. Terrible service from Axelsen.
Now, this experimental service law, all the tall players have been saying, oh, it's really going to affect them, but I don't think Axelsen's low serve was particularly good before.
No, it wasn't. So
Am I being harsh? No.
no, so that was like...
He's got to think about the sideways drift.
yeah, but he's going for a winner again.
Yeah. So he needs to build the rally and then go for the winner.
I think, again, he can't go for winners from the backcourt. If he hits a winner, then it's an accident. He needs to create opportunities on the front court and be able to kill it from there.
Oh, that is pinpoint accuracy.
Service over. 4-7.
Ooh, that was close. Oh, he missed that one.
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
Viktor AXELSEN challenges for in.
First time that Axelsen has challenged in this match. And I suspect you are right again, Steen, that the line judge was wrong. Because I concur. I thought that was going long, but Hawkeye will tell us for sure. Yeah, it was considerably out. How did that get called in?
Yeah, it's the sliding
Yeah.
shots. They're really difficult to judge.
5-7. Play. Service over. 8-5.
My goodness me. Well, you won't see better than that. Millimetre perfect net shot from Axelsen. Look at this. Crawled up the nets and went over. Magnificent.
But a deceiving shot, because if you make 10 out of those shots, you will make a mistake on at least 4 or 5 of them, in my opinion. Then 1 or 2 will hit the top of the tape and tumble over, and then the rest
Service over.
will tumble over, where it's possible for Momota
6,
either to spin back
8.
or flick you to the backcourt.
Service over. 9-6.
Excellent play by the Japanese player.
6.
Suddenly picks up speed, and that's exactly the trouble for Axelsen, that Momota's attack is actually quite dangerous when he decides to use it.
11-6.
Well, it's a 5-point advantage for Momota at the mid-game interval. And this is looking very ominous for the Danes in this first men's singles. Park Jubong, the head coach for Japan in the tracksuit top.
And I think, is it Yosuke Nakanishi?
It is.
The coach.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Eleven, 6, play. Ball, 6.
It's gone wide.
Oh,
Challenge from
challenge.
Axelsen.
Yeah.
Viktor AXELSEN challenges call
And I think
out.
this may be the first challenge of the match where the challenger has proved unsuccessful. Fourth challenge we've had so far. Yeah, it was indeed wide. So unsuccessful.
Challenges unsuccessful. One challenge remaining.
So far, pretty much going according to plan for Momota and Japan, and we've
13,
seen
6.
that some players just have a matchup that suits one of them particularly well. But earlier today, Ratchanok Intanon turned the tides on Chen Yufei.
They should never beaten her before
No.
in 4 previous meetings.
So it can be
Service
done.
over.
Yeah.
7, 13.
But there's something about court presence
Service over.
as well. I mean, if you look down at the court,
14,
this man here, he looks so confident and sort of natural that he should win from looking at him. And when you look at Axelsen, he looks like it's natural that he should lose this match.
Yes, and it's amazing because it's not really necessarily the body language. It's almost that this man here, Momota, has got an aura about him. It's not that it's an arrogant swagger or anything like that.
It's just confidence. I can do this.
Yes.
And on the other side, you can see
7.
that there's not the same belief that Axelsen actually can do this. And I mean, at no point in this match here have I believed that Axelsen is probably going to win it.
I have to agree with you there. I mean, I felt from the onset that
Service over.
Momota
8,
really looks as
15.
if, yeah, he not just believes, he knows he's going to win. He just has that presence about him.
He's not afraid at all.
Yeah.
And that's on contrary to where we've seen sometimes Chen Long struggle against Axelsen. He's managed to win anyway, but when he won his World Championship in Jakarta in 2015, Axelsen played a really good game against him because Axelsen's attack bites on Chen Long, but it doesn't bite the same way on Momota.
Yeah.
Service over. 16, 8.
Well, time is running out for the current world champion. Because the Japanese #1 is 8 points ahead. Here's Yakaboi. His whole smooth movement, and you don't really feel that he's going to make a mistake, do you?
No.
many smashes down that line when Axelsen was that end of the court in the first game. Did Axelsen miss? And yet Momota makes it count. Look at this, it's
and
beautiful.
Momota is ready to play the next one if Axelsen has it. Plays with better mark and feels that he has the upper hand if the rallies are getting long, and that's a fantastic feeling to have.
Yeah. Now, I think there is body language from Axelsen that says, I don't believe I can win this. I'm going to lose. But you never know. His teammate, Hans Christian Wietinghus, was 16-6 up in a game against Malaysia and lost it. But I can't see Momota losing from here.
But this is going to be a tough one to shake off for Axelsen, because he has had no chance whatsoever.
No, he hasn't looked in it.
No.
I mean, he's not I know it's not over yet, so it's wrong for me to say that he hasn't been in it as we reach match point opportunities for Momota. But quite frankly, even if he wins a few more points, it's not the sort of scoreline that you expect from a reigning world champion being beaten.
No, we saw him lose a game big to Lee Chung-wei 2 days ago, but he was in it in the second game, and had he won that, I think he would have had a good chance of winning the match. We saw a close match yesterday against Song Won-ho, but here the scoreline is lying, because, I mean, 17 in the first, yeah, but could easily have been 14 or 12.
Yeah.
Service over. 9-20.
Converts on his second match point opportunity. 21-17, 21-9. The match to Japan in the form of Kento Momota. Well, he is back, and he's back with a bang. Winning the Asian Championships recently, beating 4 big names back-to-back. Today, he has beaten the reigning world champion in this first match of the Thomas Cup semi-final tie. And he's beaten him with the loss of only 26 points. "40 minutes for his victory." Well, I know Viktor AXELSEN will be very disappointed, but in the context